Good evening, good evening. Welcome once again to the stream. Welcome one, welcome all. This is not the tune we're going to be working on today. This is something I was working on earlier on. We've worked on this tune on previous streams a while ago. I got myself a new chair. The other one was two legs had fallen off, so it's propped up on bits of wood, and I couldn't move it at all. This one's nice and flexible. I can move it quite a lot, which is nice. Going on nicely, that. I think it's nearly finished in terms of the writing. Need to add a few more rises and impacts, and then tidy the whole thing up quite a lot. And then it's going to be good. But the tune we're going to be working on today is this one, sent to me by Charlie, and it is to be part of the Alterra Project album. Charlie being one of the other two members, apart from me, of Alterra Project. Let me know how the levels are between the voice and the track. Might boost this a little bit. Maybe somewhere like that might be good. Seems about comparable with the other one, which I know is kind of the right level. And this is really nice. It's kind of fairly bare bones at the moment, so there's lots of space to do lots of things with. Nice and floaty, nice driving bass line. My initial thoughts are, the bass sounds really nice, sounds really fat. I really like, we're in the key of A here, and that's a really nice key for making fat bass. And I like the hats as well, nice driving hat line to match the bass. And the kick's nice and fat. Snare, could possibly do with a bit of work. Make it a bit slappier. And maybe a bit tighter as well, in terms of the length. But, you know, it's pretty cliched at this point that I'm going to complain about the snare within Alterra Project. An extra hat. Cool. So yeah, lots of things to work with. So what I'm thinking is this early bit, maybe like just the odd like bum, dum, 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 the odd pluck or something. Whoa, bum, bum. Just like stuff like that. Nothing too complicated. Maybe some little melodic bits going on as well. That'll be my idea for this first bit. So let me get up something to make these basic sounds that I was after, which I think is going to be Reactor. Razor, which we'll be using in Reactor. And return viewers will recognize this plugin well by now because I use it a lot. It's great sounding synth. And I'm gonna be using a sawtooth, which is loaded in the initialized patch, so that's good. And I'm going to be this amp envelope here. This is the envelope for the volume of the whole synth. So I've set the sustain to all the way up. I've turned the release down quite a lot to make it nice and snappy. But on the filter, I'm going to be using this envelope 2 because this is separate from the volume. So while the filter cutoff will have this like pluck on it, this like bum bum, it's like a quite transient-y thing. The volume of it will stay constant throughout. So I've turned the sustain down on this envelope 2, and I'll turn the decay down a bit as well. And then I'll set the envelope 2 to this cutoff. Nice. Might even do a little trick that I do sometimes, which is just duplicate this saw and then put one of the colours up and one of the colours down. Make it a little bit fatter sometimes. And it's a nice basic sound, as promised. I might just add a little bit of stereo to it. Let's see what the chorus sounds like. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I think we'll have that. And I'll just record in some of these sounds. Yeah, what sound like that? If you press the little headphones there, and then when you click the note, you'll be able to hear it. Yeah, nice. So let's get those recorded in. And then those will be there for me to use should I want to. Kind of a weird shape, those. Might even do something like this with them. Yeah, so I'll keep one like that, and I'll keep the other one as it was kind of originally. Maybe turn it down. And what I should have done before I recorded this, but I'll do it now, hey ho, is put a low cut on it. And I will, if I'm sound designing anything for a section which has got lots of bass, I'll always put a low cut on. And I kind of want to do it pretty early as well, because especially if there's something that has got a lot of sub, you could be like being like, oh yeah, thinking, oh yeah, it's a really good sound. It's really, really fat and big and huge. And then once later on you take the you take all the sub out of it, sometimes it can lose its appeal. So I always find if you put the low cut on nice and early, then you're selecting the sounds without their sub, and so they should sound pretty good. So another thing I might want to do here is have something like a more of like whoop. So it's like the opposite of a pluck. And I'm actually not going to do this on the envelope. I'm just going to do it on the actual filter itself with some automation. It's going to be something like that. So I think that's got a bit too much peak on this filter. for the effect I want to achieve, I'm going to bring that down too much. I want to have a little bit, because in the middle there, where the dot just because it says boost, that's like 0. You can actually have like minus boost. Cool. So that's sounding like a good resonance, but I think I want to start this like. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Let's just record that in. There you go. Some nice basic sounds. Let's think what else we can do with this, eh? So we might be able to do some more interesting things with the filter. Let's get rid of this. We've got more space to work with. Let's give ourselves a bit of a longer sound. And then have it go up and then come back down again. Maybe even like with a bit of curve, like something like that. Help if we turn the synth on. Oh yeah, that's pretty nice. What I want to do though is take the boost. I want to like have the boost doing something kind of opposite. So it comes down as it reaches the peak of the synth. Just to tame that peak a little bit, make sure it's nice and yeah, it's pretty nice. It's possible if I put this just a little bit, a little tip here for doing these kind of things is if you put the peak just a little bit after the actual half note where you want it to hit, then sometimes it can sound a little bit more in time. A bit like that. Cool, let's record that in. There we go, a few bits to play with, just to map out a basic groove. Okay, so I don't want this to be as early as here. I'm going to put this on the second bar. That's going to go there. All too loud, but we can just turn it all up. There we go. Something a bit basic, and I'm going to just let me just plop on a proper delay on here. Reverb, sorry. I think we'll go for grounded. Take the decay down because this will be our like kind of like mundane delay. Just, you know, we put a little bit on everything. Instead of using the low cut on there, I'm just going to put an EQ after, so I can be a bit more precise about what's going on frequency-wise. Something like that seems good, just so we take all the sub out at least, and a bit more. I usually get, so when I'm low cutting reverb sends, I'll usually take all the sub out like I usually would with most of the sounds, but then just a little bit higher than that as well, just to make sure that the reverb sends are not muddying up that mid end. So what's going on here? Okay, so that's quite a nice loop, and I'll loop this at least up until here, see? That's where there's a little transition. There's a little transition in the music. And then we'll bring something extra in here at some point. We'll try to accentuate this transition. But just for now, that's yeah, I might add a little bit of saturation and stuff to this, just to fatten it up a bit, make sure it's nice and present, and you're getting that nice percussive kind of element to it. Might just add a little compressor to this as well. I'll put the compressor before the saturation knob, because compressors sometimes can create some kind of resonant frequencies. So having the saturator out there just kind of flattens everything out after the compressor a little bit. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I'm liking that a lot. Cool. So, in terms of what else I want to happen to this section, so if we remember here, what we're working on is this kind of like first section at the beginning of the tune, which is a bit more chilled out than the main beat, which kicks in here at 33. Let's just add a little locator there. So what do I want to do? I don't want to go too crazy on this first bit. So that's why I wanted to make those just basic sounds. Nothing that's gonna be too heavy hitting, because then we've got somewhere to go to step up from this 33 onwards. So again, I think I'm going to go for something quite melodic. I don't think I'm going to use this reactor. In fact, yeah, why not? There's some really nice things to do in this Razor with kind of melody stuff. Let's just initialize this patch. Because some of these waveforms here, like this primes, the number pitch bend, sick pitch bend, mixed pitch bend, etc., are really cool. If you kind of like shift up and down them. So like the primes is a really good one. Let's just get this. So I've got one continuous note, and I'm going to leave it quite low here, because the primes kind of work with the harmonics of it. So it's going to be like bringing out different harmonics as you sweep up and down. So if you pick a low note, that means the harmonics will hopefully hit in the kind of like mid-range, rather than like way up at the top of the frequency spectrum, where it's hard to kind of discern the different frequencies. And then, yeah, really nice. Okie dokie, maybe not primes. Maybe I'll go for the number pitch bend. So that's kind of very major sounding. It's got the major thirds in there. That's still got some major thirds, but it's not quite as bright as the even one. The reason you'll have major thirds in there is because the major third is only the third harmonic. The third harmonic. So you got your root, first, second, third harmonic is the major third of the key. So it hits it quite often when you're doing this kind of like harmonic based kind of stuff, which means that you're bound to always have a little bit of kind of major thirds mixed in there. But it can sound pretty decent still if you're using minor thirds in your track. If you just use it sparingly, it can actually be really nice. Let's try this odd. Ooh, it's nasty. What about if we go for this mixed pitch bend? Yeah, pretty nice. Got an idea. Which would be to randomize this, first of all, using LFO1. I'll just apply this to here. And then change the LFO shape to a random wave. Have it quite a bit slower than that. And then what happens if I then auto-tune that to a scale? It might like run up and down the scale. That'd be pretty cool. So if I go to max, get my auto-tuner, and then I'm going to set the scale, and the scale that we are in is A. And Charlie said that it could be minor or it could be Dorian, because we haven't decided whether we're using a major or a minor sixth at the moment. So I'm actually just going to skip the sixth altogether, and let's see what happens. Okay, pretty cool. What happens if instead of doing a random wave, we do a random step? Like this, you can see here in the LFO. I don't know if that's behind my picture there. You can see here in the LFO, you can change the shape. That's a random wave, and then we've got a random step. So a random step, hopefully, we'll just like select different notes. Yeah, nice. That's pretty cool. I wonder what happens if we also do like a step on the... Oh, so first of all, make it a bit more of a plucky sound. So I'll take the sustain down on the amp envelope. It's only, yeah, actually, because what I'm going to have to do is put in an arpeggiator to give us a note on every 16th. Pretty nice. I might try and what I want to do is try and automate this this cutoff as well. So what I'll do is set it to LFO2, and I'm gonna set it to the same, do the same thing. So for every step, for every melodic step, there's also a different filter step. But because it's on a different LFO than the pitch bend, it won't be doing like the same movement in the same direction every time. So these like things will overlap. Hopefully, that's the idea anyway. Cool. And messing around with this amp envelope gave me an idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go configure sustain. So I've got my sustain here now in here, and then if I attach a max LFO to this, it's got this waveform on here which is bin, and this is like either up or down. It just selects one or the other either time. So if I set that again to the same 1/16th length that the patch is working on, just give this a little bit of a drive, maybe a bit of chorus or something would serve as well. Going to just tighten up this pitch bend. Try and get it in all into a range where like a lot of it is usable. Let's try to get something like this. Some bits in here really nice. I think enough to be warrant a record, so I'm going to record in a little take of that. What did I just record? Oh, I didn't record anything. That's good. Not getting anything through it now. What's going on? So there was some automation that reapplied itself, annoyingly. Cool. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I'll just go ahead, record that in. Cool. There might be just a few bits in there we can use. I don't want anything too crazy, as I said. Trying to keep it nice and subdued just for now. I think once we've got a couple of sounds in here, I'll move on to the next section and get onto some more kind of like gnarly stuff. Just the odd bit, really nice. And then I can repeat some of these if I need to. Some of this is really nice. Ah, here's where I accidentally recorded it that one time. That's no matter though. There we go. This is really nice. Yeah. We get some of these repeated a little bit, get a nice groove going on. These 4 bars here I'm really loving. I'm wondering if these should be repeated. Just listen to these last few parts. They're really nice. So if I just copy these across, some of them will clash and go over other stuff, but that's fine. Cool. So on this part here, I feel like I want to take some frequencies out of this, because when it does the whoa, it just sounds a bit like atonal to me, and I want it to like just be really solid and accentuate the key we're in rather than detracting from it. And I find just finding one frequency range that's not really serving the sound and dropping that out a little bit, not even all the way, just a bit, can really just like shape the sound. Maybe this. I think I want to bring the low cut up a bit. Cool. So one of the things I think is wrong is that it's just a bit too loud. Easy enough to fix. Yeah, nice. We've got some nice interesting sound design going on, and it's not too big, you know. It's like it's keeping it on the down low, although it's keeping it groovy as well. This one feels like it might... I haven't got a delay set up yet. No, this is fine for now. Yeah, pretty good. So then if we copy this across... Just get rid of that for now. If I copy these last 8 bars across, and that can be like our groove, or our basic groove that we can design things around and bounce things off. Cool. So now let's do something a bit more interesting. So when I'm making all the music that I make, really, I have this kind of philosophy of trying to balance out kind of like what we call like tech sounds. Hey Dane, how's it going? Glad you could make it. It's nice to work on a nice fresh tune, you know, all the bass and drums just made, and all I need to worry about is just like dropping down a load of sounds. I love doing this. Yeah, so I have this philosophy of trying to balance out what we call like techie sounds, like, you know, things like glitch or like wubs and squelchers and things like that. And like melodic sounds, so sounds that are gonna like give you melody and harmony, maybe set you in a key, maybe like add a bit of interest and structure. Yeah, and having like a good mix between these kind of sounds is one of the things I always try to achieve. So right here, I would say this is kind of like tech sounds that we've been making, basically. Dane, you're chilling, having wine in a hotel courtyard. Beautiful. Sounds idyllic. So I think what next, I'm going to try and do some more kind of like melodic stuff. So, and I'm going to use a different synth. One of the really good tips for if all your sounds are like starting to sound the same, is to like use a different synth to make some sounds. Often they've got different kind of like architecture, and also kind of different workflows to them, which can like make you think a bit differently. So I would say using synth, using different synths is good. What's happening here? I need plugins on instrument, and I'm going to load myself up a Surge. This is a free instrument, and it's a new one that I've been using. I did load it up once on stream, and it looked very complicated, so I needed to go and do some research, basically. So I've done a bit of that now, and I know what quite a lot of this synth does and how to use it. So, yeah. First up, though, I'm just going to concentrate on what's going on with my MIDI. So here, I've got this this low A note going on. That'll be okay for now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me sent. What am I getting this on? A rhythmizer. This is like a fancy MIDI plugin that just kind of like gives you, you can just out of a single note can give you a bunch of like randomized kind of melody or rhythmic stuff, or like random gate length, random velocity, etc., etc. So I think we will go for Dorian and see how that serves us. So Dorian has 7 steps. So if I set this to 14, that will be 2 octaves. And I'll set the probability to mostly. A bit less than that. So here in the middle is my rhythmic stuff. And here, this is what my standard, what it's just going to do. So it'll do 16ths every time with, and that's what it's doing. But then you've got these extra ones here with probabilities. So if I bring this up, it gives us the 10% possibility of it being an 8th note rather than a 16th. And one thing I like to do, especially in straights tracks, which are not swung, is put a bit of 32s in as well. Gives it a bit of that kind of like roll. Let's give ourselves more steps, I think. This is very low. Endless MIDI. And then there's a gate here as well. If you set it to low, but then turn the random up, obviously this like will then randomize, but only above where you've set it. Yeah, so that's pretty nice. Just going to move my work area across to here for now. And then we'll be twice as long here as well. So let's go into Surge now. And it's got incredible amounts of oscillator options, which is great. Classic sawtooth, modern sawtooth. The wavetable one's got just like endless amounts of wavetables. Wavetables for days. Let's try some of these. And I've got I quite like that. Going up and down with the formant. It's pretty nice. So down here I'll get an LFO and I will attach that to the formant. I'll make it unipolar. Right, how many semitones am I going to go for? Lots, I guess. It's annoying that it does it like this and it can't just do it percentage. Here, let's go 100 semitones. Can't be larger than 60 semitones. Let's go 30 semitones. Cool. Well, that's sounding pretty harsh at the moment. Let's get a filter on this bad boy. Over here are the filters. You've got filter 1, filter 2, and you've got filter balance in the middle. Let's go for a good old low pass. Give it a bit of resonance. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Cool, yeah. So that's will give us a bit of movement. I'm going to use a separate LFO. Do it to the cutoff. And hertz. Let's go 3000 hertz. Let's go 6000 instead. Still not very much, is it? I wish it would just allow me to do percentage. Let's go 10,000. There we go. Yeah, nice. Took me a little while to rein in that filter. I'm kind of not really used to this plugin all that much at the moment, but getting there. And yeah, but these LFOs have a random mode, and look how many there are. So many. What an incredible sight to behold! All those randomizers. So I'm going to crack on. I'm going to add some effects onto this chain. Now you see over here on the right, you've got all these effects up here. Now in this synth, you've got a scene A and scene B. You see up here in the top left, A and then B. And these are two different scenes. You can have playing at the same time. I'm just going to have A playing at the moment. And then here over in the effects on the right hand side, you've got a chain for A and you've got a chain for B. And then you've got some sends that you can send both of them to. And then you've got master effects as well here. So I'm just going to be working on this A chain for the moment. And then I've got all these effects. So I'm going to go for a bit of overdrive to start with. Not really done what I wanted it to do. Maybe a different one. It's quite intense. Maybe turn the input gain down and then the output gain up. Don't want that much bass boost. Cool. And then the idea will be to have this go into maybe like a reverb. But this one I've got at the moment is quite small. It's like a small reverb. I think I'll add another return track and put another verb in there and make it like big. The reverb, get ourselves another realm. So I use the grounded for the other one, so I'll use the airy for this one. Turn the mix all the way up. Oh, do you know what I forgot to do actually? Just turn all the mix all the way up on this one. Yeah, nice. Yeah, and then we'll get these nice kind of like delayed kind of bits of melody. Slip Hypnotic with the raid. How's it going? Maybe a bit of a change from Slip Hypnotic stream because I'm making kind of more down tempo-y kind of side breaksy kind of stuff. Hey Tripski, trippy ski. Nice of you all to join us. Yes, we've just been making some nice basic sounds for this so far. This kind of stuff. And now I'm experimenting a bit with Surge XT, which is a new synth to me. Raid mode. Nice. Well, nice of you to join us. And Trippy Ski, thanks for the follow. Cool, so I'm just trying to fatten this up somewhat. And I think this is all right. I need to add a big low cut to this. And I'm just going to record some of this in, and then I'm just going to hopefully there'll be little snippets of it, which are just like really tasty. And that is what I'll be aiming just to get, just the odd sample from the track. Okay, so where are we? There we go. I hope you guys have had a good stream over on Slip's stream. This is not right. No, that's what it wants to go. Yeah. Shame though, some nice bits in that. I need to get into the habit of looking for people to raid at the end of my stream. I just kind of forget. Cool. So there's a bit of there, something to go through. Let's just see if we can find some nice little bits from that. Oh, give ourselves the send. That's nice. That's a really nice bit. So this here. Maybe even not the first note. Oh, cheers, man. Greek rice. Cheers from Brazil. Wow. Nice. Nice to have a global audience. So this is not like, this is like a track that so this is an Alterra Project track, and there's 3 of us. And this is me, Dane and Charlie. I think Dane was here in the chat, but he's kind of on holiday, so I'm not sure he's concentrating that much. But Charlie, he started this tune, and he just sent me this, he's basically just done like the drums and bass. A few basic bits. So it's a nice blank slate to be like making sounds over. So I'm just trying to like build it out piece by piece. Okay, so just a few bits, but that's okay. We'll see what we can do with them to like build up this groove. Oh yeah, nice. So we'll be repeating those bits. Hopefully, yeah, it doesn't clash with that one, which is good. No. Yeah, this is sounding pretty nice. All these bits work well and they complement what we've already done. So hopefully, if we just repeat these, they should just add to the groove. I mean, a nice familiar element that kind of repeats throughout the section. You can't stay, Slip. Oh, it's a shame. I'll catch you in a bit. I hope you've had a good one. Yeah, these are sounding really nice. Let's see what else we can make with this surge. Maybe play around with some of the other waveform modes. Let's have a look. Right, so we've got everything else. We've got a saturator on the main out from this scene. We've got a cutoff on. So if I go in and mess around with the wavetables and stuff. So I use some of these FM kind of wavetable modes. This might be interesting. And also I want to change the MIDI here. So instead of doing a key, I just want to do it the octave here. Yeah, cool. Let's turn this off for now. So I can just hear what's going on with the waveform. And I'm feeling as well, like I want to have maybe some longer notes. Like maybe I want to have have the bassist being an 8th note. And then instead of having 32, get myself some 4 notes and some 16th, but mainly have 8. Yeah, sweet. And then once I put the filter on it, it'll give us some more like wow, wow, rather than like staccato kind of short things. But I need to get the right waveform first, obviously. Maybe the FM is not really what I'm after for this. I might use a modern... Ooh, I've already used the sawtooth a bit, so maybe I'll go for a wavetable and try find something that works. Ooh, maybe a vocal wavetable, that might be quite nice. Pretty nice. It's pretty quiet though. I wonder if I can boost this. Oh, there we go. And if I do this morph, yeah. So if I put myself an LFO onto that, oh, interesting. Sounds like rain. This must be from the saturator. Let's just turn that off for now. If I even can. Okay, yeah, there we go. Just turn the mix off. Right, yeah. So let's have this LFO go into this morph, and let's do it 100%, 1000%, not even possible. Too fast. It's a bit better, a bit slower. The attack's very, I want to give it the amp envelope here. It's a very clicky, didn't want any clicks getting into the final thing there. You can see if I get below there, it kind of creeps in with the clickiness. That's good. And now if we add the filter back in. Yeah, nice. You know what? I might even add a second oscillator in here. And put it an octave up. Maybe go for another wavetable. See if I can find something tasty. Performance. Also very nice. Let's try the same trick on this one as well. Getting some nice things going on there. I think we could get a better saturator than this. So, distortion, tape. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I'd quite like to give it a bit of portamento as well, you know. So if I put it in monophonic here, and then there must be some kind of legato thing around here as well, surely. Portamento, here we go. In order to get it portamento, the gate needs to be maybe I'll not do the portamento for now. I'll actually put an external overdrive on this. I'm going to go for, let's have a look. Let's try putting a saturation knob on it. Try and just fatten it up. I don't know why I'm doing this in Surge. I could do this in about 2 seconds. In fact, I will do. I'm not going to use Surge. I'm going to use Razor, because the kind of sound I want to make, I can just make it in a second in Razor. Cool. So LFO1. Too much verb. Then we get a second filter. Turn the resonance down a little bit. Get this being modulated by the second LFO in a kind of similar fashion, kind of randomized fashion. Turn the boost down on these a little bit. You kind of get like a sweet spot eventually. Oh, I thought I had a freeze there. I thought my computer was going to crash. Oh, and again. Oh, there we go. I'm starting to get it now. Let's try this chorus. Oh, very nice. Give it a little bit of compression or something. It's getting there. So with this one, I'm going to put as discussed before, I'm going to put a low cut on it just straight away. And I think I'm going to get rid of this rhythmizer for now. I just want long notes. Get a second. Yeah, we're getting there. Might even give it a little bit of centroid. Yeah, nice. But I only want it to flick up every now and then. So there's a way that I achieve this using the max LFO. I only want it to be on all the way down most of the time, that centroid, but then every now and then I want it to flick up. So if I get the max LFO, or even the LFOI, which is the one with the better randomization options. Just map that to there. Make it random, but offset it like most of the way down. Yeah, there we go. Then it should just flick up kind of every now and then. Put the max at like 30% or something. Yeah, there we go. Just get little flicks every now and then. Yeah, kind of getting some pretty gnarly sounds from that. Let's see about recording that, shall we? Yeah, cool. All right. I think there are some cool bits in there that we can pick out. And then after this, I think I'm going to go ahead and like actually write a melody for this section to play around with. Tripisky. Thanks, dude. Oh, let's get rid of that verb. Straight away there, I think there's a nice little bit on the... Yeah. So here, when I'm editing down, I'm trying to avoid doing it at the same time as these other ones that I've already edited in. Obviously, if there's something really tasty that I really, really like, I'm not going to edit it out just because it's clashing. But as a general rule of thumb, I try to edit around what I've already done there. Then hopefully we'll get these like little interactions between synths. Yeah. That'll sound like good as a little flick up. That's really cool. Yeah, some cool bits in there. I think if you take that out, that's good, isn't it? Not sure about this thing here. Might keep this thing instead. I feel like there is a good bit in here somewhere that just needs to be like chiseled out with this little bit. Yeah, like that. It can be pretty hard to recognize those sometimes when you've got just like a whole thing and most of it's trash, but then just like one little snippet of it in the middle is like gold. Yeah, it can take ages to kind of get good at recognizing those. Something like that. Oh, it's got a really nice tone to it, this bit. Oh, that's nice. Found it by accident, but it's pretty good. Just a little dumb. Pretty simple, but I like it. Yeah, I'm not going to keep that. A bit too nasty for my taste. This is cool, but it kind of clashes with all this other stuff that's going on. So if I do like that, yeah, and then it all kind of runs into each other. From this one to this one to this one, back to this one. Right, if I move that across one to stop it clashing with this one here, maybe that'll create a nice little run. Yeah, nice. I do like that a lot. I make it look so simple. Yeah, to be honest, most of the skill in this comes in like training your ears, and that just takes time and like overanalyzing all your favorite tunes to the point where you don't enjoy them anymore for like 20 years. And you just eventually you hone in on exactly the sound that you want. Let's add in this other track as well and see what it's all sounding like together. Oh, yeah. James! Ah, my good friend. Dude, I was totally hoping to come to the Last Zen Mischief and party with you, but I've been having persistent health problems. But hopefully that's on the up now, so I'm hoping to see you at festivals this summer. For sure. You're going to be doing Soulfest again. That sounded great. So in order to develop this section further, this section is actually 16 bars longer than we've made sounds for currently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this first section and copy it across to the third, because this is all sounding really lovely. I think we can reuse some of this without people noticing too much. And yeah, this is good. It's really good, but there's nothing that's really like, there's no moments that are really like unique and stand out on their own, as like as like standout moments, and that's kind of what I'm going to be trying to do next. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and write a really cool melody, like really intricate and involved, and that'll be a really good basis to like play with my sound design. Because what I've found sometimes is like if it's like if you're like layering up sounds and sounds and sounds, and a section is like, it feels like it lacks direction or kind of solidity or some kind of like foundational idea to like make it really good. Like I've found that like writing a really cool bit of like MIDI, like a melody, before you start doing a bunch of sound design, and then bounce out a load of different like sounds based on that one melody, you can create these really, really cool kind of glitched up but coherent sections. Sheffield, yeah, of course, I'll see you in Sheffield. Gig, Tectonic in Sheffield on the 19th. That is a week on Friday. A week on Friday. Playing in Sheffield. And we'll have a good knees up, shan't we? So, let's get some MIDI going on here. And I'm just going to load up a synth. And to save our ears, I'll load up a synth and I'll let's use Vital. I'll put a sine wave in so that it's nice on our ears. Wow, my computer's really struggling. Getting some right freeze ups. I restarted it just before the stream. Oh well. Basic shapes. Yeah, there we go. Write ourselves some MIDI. So we are in A. That's a bit high to start on. Okay, so that's the bass note. I'm going to use some quite low notes in this, I think. Yeah, something quite rhythmical that goes like up and down the octave. I think I'm going to put this up an octave for now, just so we're going to hear what's going on a bit better. Yeah. Yeah, this one here. Yeah, kind of like that. Let's kind of repeat that, see where it takes us. Do something a bit different second time round. It's pretty nice. Just trial and error. repeat again. Not too keen on how this flows. Maybe get rid of this last note. Might make it a bit more groovy. Yeah, stick with the original. Yeah, okay. Sounded pretty cool. I'd quite like to have some longer notes in this as well. But if I set this to mono, voices 1. Select all these notes, and then if I lengthen them a bit, too much legato. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll record some of this melody as it is and use something like that. And then after I've got something like that, might be a new question, but why are all your projects in 44.1? I mean, the actual sample rate, there's not much point unless you're doing some kind of special applications of going higher than 44.1 kilohertz, because that sample rate will be able to produce sine waves above the range of human hearing. So the sample rate in terms of how many samples you get per second will reduce the maximum wavelength that you can reproduce within the waveform. And at 44.1 kilohertz, you can already produce sine waves beyond the range of human hearing. Now, there are some special cases where you would use like 96 kilohertz or something, and that would be, you can create some like nice. I mean, I don't know. To be fair, I'm not a specialist in when you would use that, but you can create some nice kind of subtle downsampling effects through recording stuff in like 96 kilohertz and then downsampling it to 44.1 kilohertz. But yeah, what does add to the quality of the project is the bit rate, because that will give you more amplitude options, and yeah, that can be advantageous. So often, if I'm doing things top quality, I'll bounce out in 44 kilohertz, 24-bit. But often, like, so for instance, when I sent that for masters, and then when it came back from masters, it was 4416, so 44 kilohertz, 16-bit. I mean, it's all fantastic quality. You can, it's if you're starting out producing, unless like you don't 4416 is absolutely great. You can do everything that you'll be thinking you want to do within that. There's no reason to be bouncing stuff out at 96 kilohertz. It just takes up unnecessary room on your computer. Cool. So I'm gonna bounce this out. And then we're going to mess around with some waveforms, see if we can make a cool patch. Oh. Yes, we like. Going to randomize that. Funky. Very funky. A bit of unison. Give a random on the filter as well. Okay, so this second randomizer, I'm going to try and make it be a bit more normal. Yeah, do some normal sweeps. You know what? I already really like that. So I'm going to record that to audio and I'm going to continue working on the sound. Like I've said before, if you're working on the sound that's eventually going to be more complicated, but along the way you stumble on something that sounds cool, get it to audio, because then you've got both that and what you eventually will make to work with then. Nope. God, my computer is struggling. Been doing sound design all day. This can be like a nice layer so that when I edit down all the other kind of crazier bits that I make, when there's gaps, layers like this, which are like nice and solid, can like fill in the gaps. So I'm just going to leave that as is for now. Carry on working on this sound. Try and create something a bit more gnarly. Maybe I move the filter before the distortion. Cool. And you've got all these kind of like all these modulations. I really like the random amplitude, but I've used it so much I can't use it again today. You know what? I'm just going to leave it as is, I think. And I'm going to get another oscillator and see about doing some frequency modulation. So if I put this sine wave up an octave and then have it modulate this first oscillator. Oh, there we go. It's pretty cool, this sound. Maybe add another oscillator in here. Cool. Then that's pretty like nice fat waveform. I'm going to go ahead and after this add some more kind of like glitchy stuff. So I've got a glitch multi thing here. Let's just run it through a glitch 2 first, and hopefully that'll just give us a load of like techie / melodic things to do with it. Let's see what it sounds like. I really like making melodies and then turning them into tech sounds, because then what you end up with is kind of like a kind of like fusion of everything. I think it might sound better if it's like up an octave, so that it's more in the melodic range than the kind of growly range. Let's get ourselves an EQ. Just make sure it's not the sub that I'm enjoying on that, and that it is in fact the non-sub frequencies. Amazing. I love Glitch 2 so much. Oh. Right, so as I'm recording this, I'm going to be hitting the randoms on Glitch. Well, I'll be streaming the mixing process of the track. So, to stream my entire mixing process would be incredibly tedious. It's hours and hours of just sitting there tweaking little volumes and parameters and stuff, listening again and again and again to the same bits. I think what I'll do, because I did the first open collaboration, which I've now finished the mix of. But what I'm thinking of doing is doing a stream where I go through what I've done to it, to the mixing process, but also how I go about bouncing it out for my live set as well, if that would be all right. Yeah, and also I'll definitely be touching on mixing and doing sessions when as I finish other tracks. I will touch on the mixing, but I think sitting there and actually mixing a track in front of you is not going to be good content. It's not going to be very engaging. Anywho, let's crack on with this. Oh. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Yeah, cool. Yeah. See, when you write a nice bit of MIDI and then glitch the hell out of it, it's got this lovely kind of like through line to it, even though it gets pretty crazy. Oh, my computer's struggling. Come on. So from here, yeah, my computer just froze up a bit there. Just going to re-record it from there and carry on the randomization. Ah, yeah. So many cool bits in there. Unfortunately as well, Stale Plav, like a lot of the skill in mixing is, again, training your ears. If you want to get good at mixing, I'd recommend listening to a lot of music and like over-analyzing it as much as you can. Like, how's the frequency balance? How's the balance between the highs and lows? What's going on in the different frequency ranges of each individual element? So just the kick, what's going on in the highs, what's going on in the lows, how do the lows interact with the lows of your bass, what's going on in the highs of your bass, how do they interact with the highs of your kick? This is the kind of thing, the way to think when you're listening to get good at mixing. Unfortunately, it does ruin a lot of your favorite tracks for you, but that's just how it is. Cool. So there was a lot of incredibly cool parts in this. I'm gonna edit this down straight away. Wow. I think these two. Interesting. Not sure it's tonal enough to fit in this track. some of these not quite in time either, having to just do a little bit of doctoring. Where is the best place for this? Swap these two round maybe? Might work. Not sure I can make this work. Let's put this back where it was. It was sounding really nice just without those that little trill. Thanks a lot. Last stream was amazing. Interesting to see how you start your project. Yeah, do you know what? That's like the third or fourth time that I've started a new project on stream, and every time I've been like, right, I'm gonna like get a nice recording of this so I can clip out, you know, how to make the kick, how to make the bass, etc., etc. Every time the audio is just completely messed up, apart from the last time where I got it perfect. Yeah. So here you see there was a long note and I cut it off just so it was a half beat on the start of this bar. Here I could have done the same, but to add a bit of variety, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have it on the second beat of the bar. It's kind of cool. I think it was just out of time. Oh, that's so cool. That's cool. I want to get it down because you see it's because of the granulation, it's not in key with the rest of the track. But through humming it, I think I need to take it down 5 semitones to get it to be in key. Yeah. Maybe a few cents as well. Yeah, take it down. Oh, yeah. So it goes the 2 bits together, working really nicely. This bit as well. Turn this bit up so we can hear it better. They can stay, but they can be turned down. Sounding cool, leave some room though, Dane. Well, this is like super early days for the track. So there's lots of space. There's like extra sections and all stuff, kind of stuff. And also this is going to be chopped down, obviously. I'm just cutting out all the best bits. And all my editing down goes through multiple rounds of editing. Hell yeah. Right. My computer is really freaking out tonight. Not at all loving what's happening. We've slowed down to a snail's pace. I'll just hit play so that we can listen to the fruits of our labours. Unfortunately, we've no one to raid from the Audio Corner community. I do think I stream quite later than a lot of the others. I fear if I carry on streaming though, my computer will explode. Which would be fine, but I haven't backed up all the tracks that I've been making on it. So for that reason, I think we're going to leave it here. We'll just listen to this. And then when that's done, I'll be out of here. Yeah, brilliant, guys. Okay, my computer is like really complaining that it wants me to stop doing sound design. I've been doing it all day. But thanks, guys. Thanks for everyone who came. It's been really good. We've got some good progress done there. Obviously, nothing mind-blowing as of yet, but some very solid sounds. We're starting to build up the groove. And yeah, next time, I think next week I'm going to continue to work on this. I'll continue to build out this melody. And yeah, we'll see where it takes us. But until then, I'll catch you later.